Very good evening, good afternoon. I don't know when afternoon becomes evening, but I guess this is about the time when slowly we move on from afternoon to evening. I know it's been a long day for you, lots of really good speakers, and being the last speaker, I don't know whether I'll be able to make sure that I do justice with the topic that I have in selling in the digital era. I think if you look at it, even before I go on into the topic, just wanted to move on and uh, I think people tell me that this person, Barack Obama, is the most powerful person on planet Earth. I didn't want to use Trump, but at least Barack Obama. I disagree. I think this guy is the most powerful person on planet Earth. That's me with my friend Barack. A lot of people in Bollywood think that Kaka Shahrukh Khan is the most powerful person on planet Earth. So that's me with Shahrukh. The Europeans think it's Rocky Balboa, the Italian Stallone, who is the most powerful person. The Chinese think it's Bruce Lee. They even have a museum for Bruce Lee now in Hong Kong. The British think it's Sir Charles Spencer Chaplin. It does not matter if in his times there were no color pictures, but I do have a color picture for him. The Americans think it's Michael Jackson, someone who taught us how to moonwalk. The good, the bad, and the ugly. When you go onto the US, you can decide who the ugly person in this picture is. We move on into the television era, and we come to Simon. And of course, just wanted to give you a lighter introduction. That's me. My name is Alan Bailochhan Tuladhar, as I've been introduced already. Microsoft Regional Director covering about 19 countries in this region. I also run a local company called Unlimited, 26 years now with Unlimited, and doing a whole lot of stuff. We taught how to use Nepali language. Now, I think one of the most interesting things, how many of you started your computers with a typing tutor called Typeshala? If I could just see raise of hands. One hand, we had Raman, and on the other hand, we had Ram, and we needed to cut down on the number of heads and all of that. 1992, I came back from the US. I was 3 months between jobs, and that's when I sat down and developed Typeshala. Unfortunately, no one knows that. So I'm going to now make a T-shirt that says, I'm a Typeshala developer. And, but I think in terms of technology, I feel one of my best creations has been the Nepali spell checker. So as soon as you go onto Word and type anything on Unicode, automatically it'll give you a wizard that says, do you want to download the speller? And right there, Rasto Dirgha Suddhikaran becomes automatic. Anka Jhimika Gardakeri Samma, I think all of your spelling gets corrected. Now, we are working on a new tool specifically for people that need to sell right across the region. Skype is something that we all use extensively, whether to call, whether to chat. And if you wanted to do a voice or a video call, and I think that extensiveness, if you are calling in Nepali, let's suppose if your customer was in China, you would say namaste, and he would hear ni hao. Someone in the Middle East would hear salam alaikum. Someone in Germany would hear Guten Tag, and that live voice translation from Nepali to 19 languages right across as you speak, live translation with machine language, that's happening right across. Hopefully this Tihar, you'd be able to use it and be able to use it extensively. But our topic today is more on how do we, in this digital era, look at using technology to do your jobs, which is selling. And I think there's a huge transition that's happening right across the sectors. You name the sectors that transition is happening, whether that's on, I don't know how to use this. People from Microsoft always have problems with using technology. So manufacturing, huge digital transformation that's happening. If you look at retail, everything is going online. If you look at food delivery, Food Mandu delivers food to you. Restaurants are changing. If you look at Metro Tarkari, grocery sales, grocery retails is changing where meat items and groceries come to your home. Education, the best of the Harvard education is now getting available free without having to go to Boston. It's available right here in your bedroom, where right from your device, on your phone, you still get the entire education. Big disruption happening in financial services. This change that's happening in all of the industries is changing our roles that we traditionally knew as salespeople. And this disruption in every field that we can think of is changing the way we look at it. Sales has changed. Today, a customer walks into your office, He knows more about your product than you do. You cannot bluff. He knows more about your competition than you do. And he's done his research so much that all he's there is to negotiate the price and the freebies that you can give on top of the product that you sell, on top of the service that you sell. Today, I think they tell us that in the buying cycle, 57% of the buying is already done before he even approaches the vendor or the seller. And that's changing in a always-on, ubiquitous, anytime, anywhere mobile phone that everyone has. 100% of Nepal's population now has a phone. 59,000 smartphones being sold every day. And everyone loses this marshmallow challenge and buys a new phone when it comes out. Note 9 is coming out, and everyone is already looking at when to buy Note 9, and so on and so forth. And I think that's the way that our customers are looking at in terms of how they're looking at in terms of buying your services. They have more information about you, your competition, your products, and much more. I think most of you tell us that 70% of the sales reps' jobs are getting extremely complex. And more than 2/3 of your time you spend on non-selling activities. You have to fill up your forms, your reporting, your forecast, you're not talking to your customers. And a major change in that is happening. And I think we're not even, what we are supposed to do in terms of, but if you look at what's on the top of your mind, they tell us that revenue growth, growing your business is on top of your mind. And that's what we just committed, raising our hands and holding hands, making sure there's more zeros onto the revenue part, growing the business. I think you always tell us you need to stay focused. You need to make sure that whatever that you need to provide the service to your customers, provide the products to your customers, I think that's the main big focus that you're looking at. How do you stay focused? There's such a lot of other aspects that keep on helping you stay on focus. And I think one of your biggest challenges that's on the top of your mind that keeps you awake at night is how do you win faster? What do you do to get more sales, more revenue, and do it much faster? And I think on top of your mind is also, how do I use technology to do all of this? How do I use technology to grow? How do I use technology to stay focused? How do I use technology to be more productive? And I think that's the big challenge now. On one end, technology gives you all of these opportunities. On the other end, technology also makes sure that kind of gives you that double-edged sword, making sure that you're not effective as before. Other competitors come up with a much better technology that gives them that competitive edge. We've seen, at least in the financial sector in less than 20, 25 years, the largest monolith government organizations being not so effective with the newer, faster, more effective banking sector that uses technology a lot. And so on and so forth. We can go on with so many examples within the country. Selling in the digital era, I think the customer is in the center focus. We're always looking at the customer, whether that's on sales, whether that's on marketing, whether that's on providing service after the sales, whether that's in making sure that our field service on the field is being connected and also being able to provide all of the required services with the back-end information that they have. And at the end, at the same time, we've also got to look at the back end, making sure that our automation is correct, making sure our finance and operations are correct, their credit systems for the customer in terms of service and all of that is correct, making sure our parts are coming on time, our reorder points are happening, and at the same time, our HR is also acquiring the best of the talent that's possible within the system as well. And most of us, I think, despite going online, I think we're also looking at more. You look at every company, they're also going into brick and mortar, having physical retail outlets, talking to the customers on a face-to-face basis. One time, 15 years ago, everything went online. Now, coming back onto brick and mortar, having a direct, personalized relationship with the customer. And I think that's changing. So it's kind of taking a loop and going in there. Yet we have a whole lot of technology that surrounds these processes. Office is something that we use all the time, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. All the time we're using it. We're making sure that there's more flows happening with Microsoft Flow. There's more Power Apps happening where we are creating short apps without learning any programming. Then we are using now a lot of artificial intelligence, machine learning, IoT devices, and getting all of that intelligence from the system directly for our sales processes. We want to find out how many, we do not want to know how many new prospects that we have. We want to find out which are the highest net worth individuals that we can sell to. And where should I spend my most important time rather than just going to every customer? And I think it's no longer about prospecting. I think it's about learning how to sell more to each of our best customers. And of course, being able to get these smaller apps and to not having to develop our entire solution, but being able to create all of that and to be able to sell. If I look at any organization, and I think on the top of your minds, you're also thinking within your management is also thinking in terms of what kind of digital transformation can you bring within your organization? What technology can you bring so that you're more productive? First pillar that we look at is how can I engage with customers with technology? And today, the customers are on social media. Today, the customers are looking at a lot of internet, and Google, like earlier said, knows it all. Everything that we want the answers are with Google. I think most of us, we are looking at ways of how do we engage with the customer digitally. How do we connect? Today, I think our marketing efforts, our advertising efforts is not only on television and print media and hoarding boards and other means of communicating with finding the prospect, but now we are using digital tools as well, directly honed on into one individual that we can target and find out who is our prospect. Big transformation happening on prospecting and finding our customers. Empowering our employees. They are now using a lot of technology. Anytime, anywhere, any place. Emails are not good today. It has to be IM, instant messaging. The answers has to come instant. Today's generation, the millennials don't like to use emails. They only do that when they have to write to their principals. It's all about IM now. It's all about instant answers coming out, whether that's WhatsApp, whether that's Viber, whether that's... Now, I think within the organization, you'd also like to have an instant messaging platform for your entire employees to be able to talk to each other and to be able to answer and be able to have your own telephone exchange per se on your mobile phones to be able to talk to each other, and making sure that along with the data, along with the backend intelligence and the bots that you have, and getting machine learning and artificial intelligence help them make the right decisions. Within all of that, you also want to make sure you optimize operations. Make sure that the logistics is handled well, making sure that the finances are being handled well, approvals of your travel and expenses, approvals of your leaves, approvals, all of that coming to digital as well. And the back office coming digital as well. And at the same time, I think this transformation of the product itself is also changing. How you deliver, whether that's groceries, whether that's restaurant. A company that has no kitchen sells such a lot of food every day. Food Mandu, Food Mario. Someone who has no farm sells such a lot of, they've got 18,000 customers that they deliver to each and every day, groceries and meat items, Metro Tarkari. If you look at Tootle, disrupting the transportation system. And you might think that this is only for the young guys, for the college students and all of that. That audience is growing so fast. That's your customer tomorrow. And they're using digital tools to buy stuff. They're spending online, and they're making sure that they make the decisions online. You've got to also think about how do you transform your product so that you are able to appeal to the next generation. I believe Binod Chaudhary was here today. His next hotel is targeted at the yuppies. A whole new young generation of a whole new experience that's coming to be so different in Jamsikal. Now, so it's no longer the traditional hotels that we are looking at. The experience in the hotels are going to be, I think the next hotel experience is going to be very different because it's targeted at the 20-somethings. They might not have the money today, but they have the spending power in being able to influence a lot of technology decisions. And in bringing that digital transformation within your organization, I think these are the 4 pillars that you might want to think about, consider about, and see whether you're able to engage with your customers, technologically, using digital tools, whether you're able to empower all of your employees, your team members with digital tools so that they're talking to each other in teams. Those teams could be organically grown or across all hands, whether how you optimize your operations, making sure that there's no bottlenecks within the flow of the organization. It's not some accounts guy, some bean counter who's stopping all your sales processes because you can't get the approvals of your travel and expenses. Most salespeople on the road always dread about their travel and expenses not being approved. And of course, how do you transform your products? Making sure that now you're able to sell, whether that's Coca-Cola, whether that's whatever traditional products that has been existing for hundreds of years. I think all of these products are transforming. And I think these are the challenges that keeps the leadership in every organization awake today. And all of this is driven, is being fueled by software and data. Data is king today. And with that data comes machine learning, with that data comes artificial intelligence, with that data comes a lot of bots that makes the decision to take it forward. I wanted to give the scenario about a plywood company in India that used CRM, a customer relationship management, to be able to use the solution. So hopefully a case study for green ply that shows, can you get the volume up a little bit, please?
This is the age of information. Creating meaningful information requires proper management of data. There needs to be a system to organize, automate, and synchronize data from all of the customers facing area within a company, from marketing to sales, to customer service, to technical support. Greenply Industries is primarily into the manufacturing plywood, veneers, MDF products, with a reach of 45 branches across India and into the 300 cities. Greenply has a wide network. Industries like us, we have a massive number of customers, day-to-day activities, lots of inquiries, lots of customer complaints. So there should be a system which can help us to capture all the information.
If you look at most of the organizations which not having the CRM solution, right now they are having all the information available on the pen and paper. By having the CRM application in place, it becomes much more easier for the sales representative to capture all the information which they do on the fields.
We have to maintain logs, coordinate with seniors, and make hundreds of entries. What we needed was a system that helped us keep track of all sales meetings and orders, and that's exactly what this solution is doing for us. We get easy updates about our next meeting, our log is updated till the latest client meet we have had, and reaching the target has become quite simple as we can see our daily progress in front of us.
Microsoft Databricks actually helped us to capture all the information. The benefit of using is that to get the potential of the sales through the distributor so that we can give them the loyalty bonus based on the sales.
Actura played a very important role into the project implementation as a consulting and implementation partner. During the project implementation, we have helped Greenply streamlining their business processes by suggesting the best practices around the CRM application. The sales organization of the manufacturing industry these days are facing many challenges in terms of optimizing the route of the salesperson to get the more productivity. So for the new application, we have created the permanent journey plan, which is having the optimized route, which helps organization in terms of increasing the productivity of the salesperson or a sales representative.
With the CRM technology, Greenply aims to get the better customer satisfaction and tapping the market potential.
So those were the last 6, 8, 10 years when CRM was being implemented. And I think looking at how selling in the digital era, we look at these 4 pillars. Trying to be modern, trying to be unified, making it intelligent, and being adaptable. So today, I think the challenges are much more than I mean, the whole concept within the digital era is products are being sold online, but that's not the case. More and more products are going on to face-to-face as well. So the e-com side is happening, but at the same time, I think more and more relationship selling is getting more important. So I kind of segregated this into 4 pillars to say, how do we become a modern organization to put in our sales efforts? How do we make all of our efforts within the organization unified so that, let's suppose if I am a bank, I don't have a CRM system, I don't have a retail loan system, I don't have a savings and credit system, I have 5 different systems. How do I have one unified system so that I have one 360-degree view of my customer and to be able to get back into the system and also do the back office work into my accounting, my ERP, and all of that in as well? How do I get my machine to make the decisions for me based on the data that I have? And looking at that, many times if I'm selling television, how do I make sure that that TV does not go, when is the fault tolerance or when is the breakage point of that TV, let the machine decide in terms of when that breakage is going to happen, preemptively, proactively, before it actually does. And then being an organization that's adaptable. Let's take a look at each pillar and then move on. Modern. Today, I think most of the organizations, we try to segregate our technology usage in CRM and ERP. CRM being the front office, where we prospect our customers. We convert those prospects into sales, and from sales, we look at servicing, making sure that our customer is happy, and then maybe moving on and seeing how we can, and then going on to that loop onto that CRM. And then we have the back office, all of our accounting, all of our procurement, all of our, and in all of this, the talent hunting, the recruitment of good talent within the organization does not come into the picture. HR is always very separate and aloof. So how do we segregate, put all of this together? At Microsoft, we've got Dynamics 365 that brings in the entire solutions into the loop. Within the ERP side, the finance, the operations, and the talent into one unlimited loop. And onto the CRM side, onto the front office, we have the sales, the marketing, and the service in one loop. Making sure that the digital marketing is also happening, listening, and making sure that what is the credibility or the reputation that you have online? Who is talking bad about you on whichever social media that they have? And I think that's a challenge, and there's such a lot of tools for us to listen to your digital e-reputation online now. If someone is talking bad about you, I remember I was in the Mumbai Taj Hotel for about 9 months ago, and I checked in. I had a bunch of Indian rupee notes because, so instead of, I checked in using my card, and while I opened my passport holder, my Indian rupee bunch of 500 rupee notes were seen, and there was another bunch of 2,000 rupee notes, and that was kind of seen. So I put that in and went to the first time I was staying in the Taj last end, so I wanted to kind of go out and walked out, drizzling a bit, 15 minutes, went back to the room, my money was gone. So I complained to the hotel and all of that. They said, we just had 2 people that went into the room. We could see the CCTV cameras. We know that they have been working very loyal to the hotel, over 15 years of experience. This has never happened. We think you didn't have the money in your. So that's okay. I said, that's fine. And I at least made a complaint to the security and all of that. Came back. I got an email from the hotel that says, we would like your feedback on one of the travel sites. I forgot what, Expedia or one of the travel sites. And immediately I wrote back my feedback saying, be careful. They'll not only clean the hotel room, they might also clean your wallets while they're cleaning the hotel room, and put that in. Within 45 minutes, I get a call from the GM. And I said, can you remove that? We'll pay back your cost that you paid from your credit card. I said, that's not the point. I wanted the hotel to be safer. So that's why I made the complaint. But the power of digital today, he's been listening onto the social media. And it automatically, I made the complaint to the security, the GM never heard it. As soon as I go digital, 45 minutes is all the time it took. I spent 2 hours at the reception making my complaint. They didn't hear me. It never went to the management. Digital, 45 minutes, this guy makes a long distance call to me, takes the trouble to find out my registration, my visiting card, makes a call to me, and next day, on my credit card, they've paid back my hotel room. They were afraid of the reputation. I didn't even remove that from the social media. I promised to, but I think people should know. But I think the power of social media today, and I think most of the marketing that we do, I don't know how this works. Anyways, most of the marketing that we do, I think, also needs to go digital. And you've got to also start thinking, saying, how do I use tools like Facebook advertising? How do I use Google Ads? How do I use targeted advertising to your customers, whichever sector that they are in? Unified, the next pillar. Definitely, I think we are seeing, as we get into our daily things, we're looking at our forecast, we're looking at our sales, we're looking at orders, we're looking at the opportunities, the prospects that we have, convert them into accounts, into customers, looking at equipment maintenance, looking at service requests, looking at support cases, has the customer been after-sales service, and shipments of our orders, and that's all part of what we know in our software ecosystem as Dynamics 365. But that's not all that you do as sellers. You get a lot more as well. You get emails, you get SMS, you get text messages from your customers, you get documents, you get calendars, you get tasks, you get meeting requests, you meet people. There's a lot of files that you have to manage, your storage and all of that. Office 365. All of that coming together with your sales processes. But that's not all. Then you get all of your relationship, because today selling is all about relationship. You try to find out, I need to sell to this customer, which of my friends knows him, or my friend's friend know him. You try to get that relationship to the customer. You look at trying to see where those skill sets are, and saying which of your employees have the skill sets to be able to reach out to that customer. You're trying to look at the job histories. You're trying to see what kind of talents that's out there that you can hire for your next project or whatever, what professional contacts that you have, and all of that coming in with LinkedIn. But yet, you also need another complexity that you need, which is a lot of other trade promotions, other patient records, other third-party informations, and all of that coming from other apps and all of that together. You need to look at a holistic 360-degree view of your organization with all of this information coming into one system. What's happening now, I suspect, is you've got scattered all of your digital systems into multiple areas where it does not come into one customer, one account, and you do not see a 360-degree view of that customer. If an employee leaves, all of the knowledge lives with that employee. It doesn't stay with the organization. What is the relationship that we had? What is the commitments that we had? What was the last history of the communications, meetings, text messages, chat messages that we had with the customer is all gone. So selling in the digital era, I think the next pillar is also now everyone talks about IoT devices, about machine learning, about AI, about artificial intelligence, robotics being used, and things like that. And I think, how do we make sure this complex situation, we bring in intelligence? Machine learning, making sure with the data, the machine is learning and giving you reasoning. And with that, you don't get Excel spreadsheets. You get one dashboard that gives you insights in terms of into the sales process, or into how you've been selling, or what action points that you need, the decisions being made by your systems. And I think today, that's where we are in. A lot of cognitive services that helps you to make these decisions. And you're not going through tons of Excel spreadsheets data. The machine is doing that. He's giving you one analytical dashboard to help you to make the decision. One snapshot that gives you green or red to help you make the decision. And I think that's where the whole interesting part in terms of the solution, in terms of the digital era is. Finally, adaptable, making sure that there are thousands of apps out there. How do I integrate it within my system? Not isolated apps, but how do I get it all into the system? And I think that's the fun part of it. Every student is developing these apps. And how do I make sure that whether those are compliance apps, whether those are, I don't know, any of the things. Maybe you just need DocuSign for your customers to sign documents electronically, and KYC forms for the banks to be signed electronically. All your contracts to be signed electronically, and coming that into the system and being filed so that there's paperless and totally onto the system, available to any of your staff when they need it. It's never lost. I think that's the opportunities that we have. Being able to use a technology called Power BI, being able to analyze and measure your organization, your sales, your growth into a very minute level, and getting the reports real time as it happens. Being able to act on those results and being able to automate and have the flow so that every time there's something that happens, it's automatically gone and made the preemptive approaches to get the solutions out. And in terms of solutions, Power Apps, where you don't need to know programming, you can make those system-triggered activities automatically onto the system and automate your workflows automatically. While I was sitting here, I approved 2 vouchers and made 1 online payment. And I think that's the power of technology today. No matter where you are, business doesn't stop. And I think that's where things happen in terms of being able to sell in the digital era today. So with all of this, I think I wanted to give you a bit of a showcase of some user case scenarios and looked at siloed into 4 areas. I think as sellers, today, selling is all about relationships. It's no longer about selling to the mass. I think you're trying to get the maximum out of your prospects and trying to sell with a relationship and using LinkedIn or other social media to be able to find who knows whom and how do I know this customer? How do I go to this high net worth individual? I think the second scenario that I wanted to show you is how do I use these artificial intelligence, these bots, these machine learning, these IoT devices to help me make customer services and help them help to support my customers better. My field staff goes around supporting my customers. How do I give them proactive, preemptive, before equipments go on fault? How do I make sure that my team is there? Before an Excite battery dies down on a car, how do I make sure that I preempt and proactively tell the customer that I think in the next 1 month your battery is going to go down? In the next 1 month your tube is going to fail. In the next 1 month your car is going to break down, your lift is going to break down. You replace anything with whatever equipment that is. And how do you provide a retail experience? More and more, I think retail, we are all coming to having a showcase to our customers now. And unique business processes. So few scenarios where I wanted to showcase. I think before the digital era, we always used to see and say, what are the leads that I have? Maybe on an Excel spreadsheet. How many prospects do I have? That's the older way of looking things. Today, we're looking at what is my most qualified customer that I have? What is the most qualified prospect? That gives me the highest revenue rather than the maximum number of customers. How do I get my prospects to respond was my older way of looking at things. How can I get a warm introduction to my customer so that the customer looks upon me as a trusted advisor and not as a seller? And I think that's the change that's coming with the digital era. What opportunities are in my pipeline is something that used to be asked by my boss. Today, I think I'm looking at saying, what opportunities need my attention? Which are the opportunities that I really need to work on to make sure that I'm selling in a digital era? Wanted to take a look at relationship sales with Microsoft and roll this video in terms of how Dynamics 365 could possibly help
Finding
you with this.
and building strong relationships is key to growing business. The Microsoft Relationship Sales Solution gives sellers the advantage of embedded intelligence to streamline business processes and gain insights. With the combined power of Dynamics 365 for Sales and the social data of more than 500 million professional members on the LinkedIn network, Microsoft empowers sellers to find and focus on the right people right from the start. With embedded intelligence and a unified view of data from across LinkedIn, Office 365, and Dynamics 365, sellers find the leads who are most likely to convert and get guidance to strengthen current relationships all in one place. With LinkedIn's Sales Navigator integration, sellers can easily keep tabs on the latest news and notes around leads and current customers. This ensures interactions are maximized as relevant conversations foster trust in current relationships, and valuable icebreakers provide perfect conversation starters when reaching out to a new potential client. A seller can find a mutual contact to provide that all-important, highly credible introduction and find all of the key decision makers and influencers within a buying committee. This drives the sales process forward with trusted relationships creating an intelligently built pipeline of high-quality leads. The Microsoft Relationship Sales solution also tracks seller interactions with all prospects and customers and monitors the health of the relationship for the seller. It automates routine tasks and embeds familiar tools in the context of each customer interaction to optimize seller productivity. And it uses interactions with leads to identify leading indicators for the future, so sellers can anticipate future needs as relationships grow and respond in a reliable way. All of these embedded intelligence features empower the seller to continue to develop more trust and reliability, creating long-lasting and profitable relationships needed to grow business. Request a free demo of Dynamics 365 for Sales today.
If you'd like to test it out and if you'd like to try out the demo, please send me an email. I'll give my contact details at the end, and hopefully maybe you can play around with the software and see if this can be of help to you. Intelligent customer service. I think even before the system breaks, even before the equipment breaks, how do we make sure that you're getting the preemptive, proactive information that's coming in? And I think in the past, before, how many agents do I need to service this customer was the question that we're having. Today, how do I resolve complex issues? Today, I'm asking questions like, which of my service engineers has the best skills to help this customer? Rather than how many cases do my agents resolve? The number of cases really does not matter, but relating the talent to the question, I think that's the challenges that I have. How long are my wait times was in the past. Today, I think how quickly can I resolve the issues? And I wanted to take a look at HP. They sell a printer every second, 50 million PCs a year. And they've used artificial intelligence to be able to answer and support customers. So every second when a printer gets sold, there's always printer problems, and there's always installation problems, and and of course they blame Microsoft because it doesn't work, but it's always the printer problem, not the Microsoft problems. But here's a case study about how HP has used artificial intelligence to solve their.
We are selling a product, we are selling also the excellence in supported services.
Customer support and customer service is a huge priority to the company. We have over 600 million contacts per year. Microsoft's advanced AI gave us an opportunity to look at better ways that we could scale. The virtual agent that's guiding them and answering their questions, trying to get the proper context around what the issue is. If the virtual assistant can't solve their problem, that information is automatically passed to a live agent so they can continue the conversation.
Artificial intelligence may be able to boost significantly the productivity of our agent.
It's going to cut down on call handle times. It's going to cut down on the actual overall wait for the customer.
The dashboard is critical. We're able to understand direct customer feedback, see key metrics around how the system is performing and whether or not it's resolving customer problems.
We were addressing maybe 15 to 20% of issues. We're now expanding that to close to 70 or 80% with artificial intelligence.
Microsoft's advanced AI capabilities is a win for any organization. And the platform that they are delivering allows you to get the scale and capabilities that are needed in order to implement AI in your business. We're looking at what other areas that we can apply this technology throughout our ecosystem as part of our digital transformation.
Give me a tool that allows me to say yes definitively and effectively, this is going to fix your problem. Bring it on, let's do this right now.
And if your Facebook page does not have an auto chat, auto bot service yet, I think you've got to immediately get your IT department to put that in. I think today this is like standard, where automatically when someone says hi on your Facebook page, there's always an instantaneous response. And maybe out of the 50 questions, there's always an answer that you can respond using bots to service your customers. And I think for the banks, it's even more easier because there are only about 5, 6 services that a customer needs. And I think answering those are so simple because you've got standard FAQs that you would have a bot answer them, looking at the keywords, and it looks like your bank is so responsive to them. And Facebook seems to be a great tool to use these bots. Doesn't need a lot of programming. I think put an undergrad student on 1 week of internship, he'll get it done for you. And I think that's the way that we're looking at saying, how do you become responsive in providing customer service to your prospects and being able to find out who the biggest prospects from those chats, those bots are, and feeding them onto your sales process. Proactive field sales. And I think in the past, we always were asking questions like, who is available for the service call? Rather than, show me how to fix this. So instead of reading manuals, now we're looking at videos and being able to specifically go on real-time issues on how the problems are being solved. We're looking at who is the best person who is equipped, who is experienced, who is trained to be able to solve this. Instead of saying, how many tickets did I close? We're asking, saying, how many issues did I prevent from happening before it did happen? And I think this preventive customer service, I think that's the key to the future. I wanted to talk a bit about Grundfos, which is a Danish company, 18,000 employees throughout the world, and they provide this water supply pipeline. And I think if we had this in Nepal, our khane pani would no longer be khane pani, it would be really piune pani or something that we are really proud to have it at home. And I think, watch this video about how their
Every
pipelines
living
are
thing on the planet
smart.
needs it, but 663 million people don't have access to it. That's roughly 1 in 10 people. 45 billion liters of water are lost around the world daily due to things like pipe leaks and bursts. Fixing those leaks would support almost 200 million people every day. These are the kinds of opportunities that we as a global community need to act on. And Grundfos is leading the way. Their pumps are responsible for powering much of the world's water infrastructure, from storage to treatment, transportation, and maintenance. And today, they're revolutionizing water systems in a way that will impact generations to come. Grundfos synthesizes data from intelligent sensors in real time and uses Microsoft technologies to allow smart pumps to predict, react, and prevent water issues. And those 45 billion liters of leaky water? Grundfos smart pumps can identify when and where water is leaking and automatically isolate faulty pipes. Grundfos is also using this technology to improve disaster relief, sanitation, and global energy consumption. They use predictive weather data pinpointing when and where major rainstorms will hit and strategically store water in safe locations, minimizing flooding and spread of disease. If health emergencies do arise, Grundfos technicians can use real-time monitoring and connected field services to quickly address pressing issues, improving water sanitation where it matters most. This is intelligent water management. This is smart technology in action. This is a Grundfos-inspired, Microsoft-empowered future, bringing greater sustainability and health to everyone.
And there's a lot of intelligence that's coming in with IoT devices on the field that's streaming data onto the internet, onto the cloud, and being able to make preemptive, proactive decision-making to be able to support on the field itself. Retail, I think huge changes coming in. They tell me Daraz is bought by Alibaba, and if Alibaba set up a big warehouse here, I think those thousands of shops that sell Chinese goods will go bust, I think. Next 2 years, they'll have to look at some other business because every product that China brings in, AliExpress is able to bring it to the house. I wanted to buy a light bulb with a camera on it. I ordered an AliExpress, paid from a card. Third, fourth day, it got delivered really fast. Post office came to my house, left it in my house, and that was it. No taxes, nothing. I'm sure it'll change, but 2 bulbs that I bought from AliExpress and my experience was really good. And I'm saying if Alibaba comes to Nepal, those thousands of shops that's selling the same products in every corner, they'll go out of business. They've got to think just like the video cassette tapes, just like the mobile phone shops are already thinking of the other businesses that they have to go into, because we R&D, we research and duplicate everything. So I think same thing with all of the thousands of retail outlets in terms of fashion wear, in terms of things, but I wanted to kind of talk a bit about as salespeople, if we have a retail outlet, we are always asking ourselves, saying, what is the sales that I had last month? I think today we need to find out who is my biggest customer, who is my high net worth customer. How do I personalize the experience of their retail purchasing so that I am able to not only greet them by the first name, but also next time I check in into a hotel, I expect them to know which newspaper that I want in the morning and things like that. And that's the personalized service that we like to expect from the system that they have. We'd also like to find out when our stock is getting over and what the reorder points are so that there's never outage of stock in our retail. Wanted to give an experience of Michael Hill. This was a retail outlet for high-end jewelry that started in New Zealand. New Zealand, just like in Nepal, is like in the bottom of the world where they don't have access to the north countries like US or Europe. And this company started their retail outlets into US and then went into London and to a lot of European countries and to kind of understand what they did with their retail.
Michael Hill was founded in 1979 by Sir Michael Hill. He set up his own jewellery store in New Zealand and he worked in that store for 40 years. There was an entrepreneur who then decided, well, we can expand this great business. You roll the clock forward to 2017 and we have 350 stores across 4 countries. It's been a great journey of growth and transformation, and we're looking to keep that going. So we could see that the growth plans of the business, clearly were going to require a lot more omni-channel processes. So that's what catapulted us off onto this mission that we're on with how we're bringing our data all together in one platform. We could see the vision with Microsoft with Azure and how it's standing up all of its applications, and security and scalability and trust. We took a cloud-first strategy, so we tested that out with Dynamics 365 for customer service, operations, and retail. And that provides us with unparalleled customer insight and will improve the way the business units support our store network. Putting the data in the hands of the people that understand the customer and understand our product and develop that relationship that's everlasting between our sales professionals and their clients. Everyone benefits from that. The company benefits, the customer benefits. It's just a win-win for all. Microsoft's taking us in that direction fairly quickly, and we'll continue down that road because we can clearly see how we can map great technology to outstanding business process. That will take our retail businesses to places that they've never been before.
And if you look at it now, Amazon is coming with Amazon Go, a real brick and mortar store in the US because they started selling books online and selling everything online, and now they're closing the loop with actually physical stores. Apple, physical stores. Microsoft, physical stores. And more physical stores are happening because that relationship with the customer, nothing can beat a handshake. Nothing can beat a real one-on-one with a customer. And I think retail is getting more important. Finally, I think there are some unique businesses. I wanted to take a look at this integrated power systems. They repair generators, they repair motors, they break them down, put that back in, they test it, they look at how oiling and rewiring and all of that is done. These could be turbines for electricity generation, these could be large aeroplane parts and things like that. In the past, they used to use digital cameras, calculators, paper, pen, and my time's up, 5 minutes, okay, thank you. So, and they had this lot of post-it notes and things like that. And taking all of these, I think now they've got a full integrated system where with the software, they're able to get the whole streamline happening. So I think finally, I also wanted to, last slide, talk a bit about this disruption that's happening in the financial sector now. We've also been looking at, in terms of financial sector, in all of our sales, I think finally the cash has to come. In India, with the demonetization, huge change that has happened because with Paytm coming in. Look at WeChat in China, that made a difference because no longer physical printed cash is important. Everything is going digital. We started our process in about 2 years ago. I think there's a sheet that's in your kit that tells you how to install. We're giving you 100 rupees to try out. So just wanted to talk a bit about what this whole wallet is all about. So sign up and play around with the app, see what happens, because eventually I think this is coming really fast. So there are about 127 applications for the wallet at Raster Bank. 17 are already operational. There's more that's coming. Our lives are changing, our people's lives are changing because everyone would be using a wallet. The reason that we are kind of different is because we moved on and wanted to run from a cooperative system where we provide savings and interest, savings and credit into everyone's account. So for that 100 rupees, you would receive 7% interest on a daily balance. Take a look at, so in the traditional banking would already be available, and I think that's going to be the disruption that's going to happen over the next couple of years. I think checkbooks will be obsolete in 5 years. People would forget to even write because everything is going digital. You'll either be tapping or word flowing, and I think mobile phones are going to change the way our wallets work because money is not going to be the way it used to be. Earlier, हाम्रो बाउबाजेको समयमा सन्दुकभित्र पैसा हुन्थ्यो, आज सायद credit cardमा होला, भोलि गएर I think digital wallets, that's coming in very fast. Utility payments is kind of de facto. We don't scratch cards anymore. As a बिजुलीको पैसा तिर्नलाई आधा दिन लाइन बस्ने, I think those are things of the past. Today, I think as we speak, राति 2 बजे पनि we pay our electricity bills. ग्राहक number, branch, and then you put your name, and automatically you go from the digital, from the विद्युत प्राधिकरणको database, कति पैसा तिर्नुपर्ने हेरिन्छ, 10% discount आउँछ कि आउँदैन, and then you pay online from your accounts. And that's, everyone offers that service. I think real-time transfers onto the bank. Today, you give a bank check, goes through a clearinghouse, transaction plus 1 day it takes for you to get the money. Tomorrow, I think it's going to be real-time. And that's where this is moving really, really fast. Delivery of products online, whether that's flowers, whether that's food, whether that's groceries, whether that's meat items, I think is happening really fast. And more cities are being covered. And if you don't like the product, you can say, sorry, I don't like it. People are ordering their, not only electronics, but their fashion wear because it has to be it has to be a body fit. But yet, people are ordering it online. And more of that is happening. Remittance is already, so remittance takes T+1, T+2, but now I think the whole challenge is to make it real time and to, as it is put into the wallet, next second, next minute, it's available in the wallet here. Making it available not from the branches, but from all of the kiosks and the agents all over the country. And that's the disruption that's going to happen because the branchless banks are going to change. And in the financial sector, I think as we speak, over the next 5 years, mark my word, I think the banks will I think, change in a very drastic manner. Branchless banking, POS, without a branch, I think a lot of banks are already testing it into the rural areas where the growth of branches and ATMs are no longer being important. And development funds flowing in, whether that is pensions, whether that is Vriddha Bhatta, whether that is food for cash, all of these development funds directly going onto the pockets of the people. And I think instead of ATMs, it's going to be kiosks where it's going to be contactless. And so huge disruption. We've started looking at our own efforts with eDeva. Take a look at it. Please do install. I think provide the feedbacks, and I think huge. So with all of this, about 3 years ago, Microsoft looked at 6 segments that we wanted to build. We have been a platform company. Someone that works Windows, someone that does Azure, someone does Office, and now we're looking at going into verticals. So in Nepal, we looked at 4 verticals to build solutions. One is on healthcare, one is on education, one is on hospitality for the tourism sector, and one is on financial sector. So I think over the next years, you'll see huge change that's coming around with Dynamics 365 over in each of these 4 areas. So we think your fastest path to digital transformation is going to be with Dynamics 365 from Microsoft. Thank you very much. My name is, again, Alan. I am Alan Tuladhar on LinkedIn. Any questions that you have, if you would like to test out Dynamics 365, shoot me an email, and we'd be happy to provide you a free test account to try around for your organization. Do you have time for Q&A, or how does it work? Maybe a few quick questions if anyone has. Would be happy to answer them, or we can take it offline. End of the day, I know it's difficult. We're all, minds are not working fast. So we'll take it offline. Thank you very much.